Hey meal prepper, welcome back to Sweet Peas and Saffron. I'm Denise and I share easy meal prep recipes that will give you your time back later in the week. Today I am sharing 4 of my favorite egg-based breakfast meal prep recipes. All of the recipes I'm sharing with you today are freezer friendly and they taste really great when reheated. Our first recipe are quinoa egg muffins. So we are taking the traditional egg muffin and adding a full cup of cooked and cooled quinoa. This bulks them out. It adds additional protein and additional nutrients to the muffin. So we're going to start out by mixing our eggs with some salt and pepper. Next, we're going to stir in quinoa, cheese, mushrooms, and sun-dried tomatoes that have been drained from the oil and finely chopped. Mix it all together and spoon into a muffin pan. You're going to want to line your muffin pan with parchment or silicone liners. Paper liners can tend to stick, so I would try to avoid those if possible. And we will bake for 20 to 25 minutes until a knife inserted into the egg muffin comes out clean. These egg muffins can be stored in the fridge for up to 4 days or in the freezer for up to 3 months. Our second egg recipe is a zucchini kale egg bake. And I love this one because it's full of veggies, it's lower in carbs, and it reheats really well. So we're going to start by chopping up some kale. You're going to want to chop it really finely because we're not going to pre-cook it. It's just going to cook through in the casserole. We're going to chop up an onion and again, chop it very finely. And we're going to shred a zucchini. So take the zucchini and put it on a paper towel lined plate and we're going to try to squeeze out as much liquid as we can. Now we're going to mix together our eggs and we're adding in milk, almond flour, baking powder, salt, basil, oregano, and dill. We're going to add in our vegetables and mix until completely combined. Don't forget the cheese. And now we're going to scrape this into a 9 by 9 inch pan, which we have sprayed with oil, and bake it in the oven. This bakes for about 30 to 35 minutes or until a toothpick comes out from the center of the egg bake clean. Now, the reason that this recipe reheats so well is because we've added almond flour. You can swap the almond flour with gluten-free flour or all-purpose flour. The point of this is that it just helps absorb some of that moisture from the vegetables. A big pet peeve of mine is when you go to reheat an egg recipe and it just gets like rubbery and really juicy and gross. So the almond flour really helps this recipe avoid that issue. Alright guys, our next recipe is a breakfast taco recipe. Consider this like a really loose recipe that you can adjust. You could swap the eggs for tofu and make it vegetarian, and maybe adding in some like refried beans would be great if you are vegetarian. You can skip the tortilla and make this like a low carb breakfast recipe. You can swap the vegetables for your favorite veggies. Like go nuts and make it your own. So we're going to start off by beating some eggs with some milk and salt and pepper. We're going to add some olive oil to a nonstick pan and cook our eggs until scrambled, then transfer them to a clean plate. Next, we're going to add a little bit more olive oil if needed to the pan, and we are going to cook some vegetables. So I am using red onion and bell pepper. We're going to cook these until softened and then transfer to another plate with the egg. Last but not least, we are going to cook some sausage. You can save yourself some time by using sausage that's not put into the casing yet. But if you can only find sausage in the casing, you can just cut the casing off. We're going to cook this until cooked through about 8 to 10 minutes. And then I'm going to drain off the fat and transfer it to a new plate. When you go to build your tacos, you're going to add scrambled eggs to a small tortilla, top with the sausage, salsa, veggies, cheese, and some green onions. Now, if you want to make this for meal prep, all you need to do is portion everything out into a bento box and just make sure that you are keeping your tortilla separate so that it doesn't get soggy. And that's it for our breakfast tacos. Okay, our fourth and final egg breakfast meal prep recipe are healthy freezer breakfast sandwiches. You might remember this recipe from my favorite meal prep recipes for 2020 video. I will link you to that up here. I couldn't resist sharing it again because honestly, it's one of the more popular recipes on my site and a personal favorite. So we're going to start off by mixing together eggs, milk, spinach, feta cheese, and salt. Mix it all together, and then we're going to prepare a baking pan by spraying with spray oil. We're going to scrape the egg mixture into the baking pan and bake it in the oven. When the eggs are ready, you'll want to let them cool completely before you kind of like work your spatula around the pan and pull the eggs gently out of the pan. You can either cut your eggs into circles using a cup and then eat the scraps, or you can cut them into squares, which is what we normally do. To assemble your breakfast sandwiches, you'll take an English muffin, top with the egg, add a slice of cheese, and put the lid on. We like to heat these in our like really old school George Foreman. So first we heat them in the microwave because that heats it right through to the center. And then we put it on our old George Foreman grill just to kind of get the outside crispy. You could put them in the frying pan or on a sandwich press or something like that. So those are 4 of my favorite egg meal prep breakfast recipes. And I hope you guys got some new ideas. If you enjoyed this video, I know you're gonna love the next video because I am showing you 4 of my favorite bulk prep breakfast recipes. So these are like the big batch ones and they're freezer friendly, so perfect for meal prep. Check the video out over here.